the world we've created is a consequence of problem solving. And to problem solve means we're seeing life as a problem, which I think we could all fairly agree that we do. Everyone thinks that their individual story is a problem. And everyone thinks that the reality of life on planet Earth is a problem. And at the moment we're trying to segregate issues to solve it, which is that's what problem solving does. It leads us down a narrow focus pathway, which means in essence we're focusing on what we want or don't want to happen, but either way we're excluding the entirety of the picture. So I'm just encouraging people to stop problem solving, stop getting down that narrow, fine process of thought that obviously is editing out way too much information. And the only way to do that is to stop worrying about what we individually want, or even as a species what we individually want. I'm suggesting we unite as a species, which starts from within yourself. Stop wanting something from this world, and you might be able to just see this world, because everyone wants to feel complete. They want to feel whole and solid, and that's where confidence comes from, where free expression of self comes from. To be creative, to enhance our intelligence, to improve our memory, our thinking ability, our immune system, our health, our ability to cope with life, our ability to absorb some of the enormous experiences that we all get faced with on this planet. We all face the loss of loved ones, and if not, then it means we probably faced our own demise prior to that. Either way, we have to face a lot of stuff. And we're not uniting, and hence that's why it's very lonely and stressful at the moment for people on the planet. That's why psychological conditions are rampant. I mean, if you search the internet, it is amazing to see how many people are starting to express their disturbance with living with life. Anxiety, panic attacks, depression are the key ones that most people could relate to some degree, but it's becoming an epidemic. It's very real, and it's all a consequence of problem solving. So it's a technique of thought that's created the planet, and it's very brilliant, you can see, as a process of thought, because it's so fine-tuned that you can create objectives and strategies, and even create a strategy to create amazing technology, or to try and solve a health issue to do with human beings, where there's a virus or a bacteria or some effect in the system like cancer that creates an outcome that we have decided is not good for us. So we problem solve our way to solving it, but we don't understand the entirety of what we're dealing with. So every new problem solution we create is creating an effect on other things that we're not aware of, whether that be within our own reality, in our physical being, or the world that we're interacting with, that's beyond our ability to deal with, because we never bothered to stop and actually look at the experience of life and be honest about ourselves, what's actually going on the planet. And you can see something funky's going on, because we're so lost in our own internal debate to get our own life right, that as long as we're looking inward like that all the time, we're not looking at what we're doing. And that's what denial effectively is. Denial is just a place of existence, which means you're just self-absorbed and thinking too much about me. What am I going to get from this world? How do I change the dynamics so I'm happier? And if you forget all that, forget trying to make yourself happy, forget trying to get something from the world, and just start looking at the world, no matter how disturbing it is, because it's going to be disturbing. We've let this go for a long time. You can see that to not look is a effective strategy for technological progress. It's not an effective strategy for creating wisdom, and it's certainly not an effective strategy for unleashing compassion, and it's certainly not an effective strategy for humans to actually unite. And we can't afford not to unite, because there's 6 billion people, more than 6 billion on the planet today. There are not enough resources to go around. Competition, which is problem solving and wanting, that's all competition is. The desire to get what we want, as I said, excludes so many other factors, including the fact that for you to get this means a whole other bunch of people cannot get it. So what if we're all wanting the same thing? We're in trouble, because our wants are so big and insatiable it leads to the raping of the planet. We're sucking resources and life out of animals, out of the environment, out of our trees, out of our waters, out of our oceans. We're sucking the life out of it because of this very problem-solving process. So we're never getting any closer to actually uniting. If anything, we're creating segregation. Technology makes it look like we're all communicating. We've got the internet, we've got information, oh look, we're all sharing. But the reality of that, it's on things like Facebook, where nobody really knows anybody. People can write whatever they want. They can write the bits that sound good, or it's still in that focus place. And I would like to suggest that we all first say, you know what, I get all that. Yes, that must feel like a problem for you. And yes, that must feel like a problem for you. Not discounting that. They're real. Those people are caught and trapped in painful places all over the place, billions of them with problems. But they're all individual life stories, 6 billion individual life stories. Where's the uniting in that that's going to deal with what we're dealing with? It's not going to happen. Like, it's not going to happen. And the step is to acknowledge that. And one of the clear indications that we are heading down the wrong pathway, that we are not becoming wiser, is because we are getting better at disguising the cruelty, disguising the insanity of our behavior. It was once more obvious, where we would burn a witch on the stake. You know, it was almost like publicly displayed. That's okay. Whereas today, that cruelty predominantly gets expressed, if you want to look at where's the majority of it expressed, it's expressed in the way we treat animals, in the housing of them, in the manipulation of them, in the breeding of them, in the cruel way we treat them, in the fact that we murder them, let alone how we treat them. We could love animals and feed them organic food and leave them free roaming. That doesn't change the fact that we kill them purely so we can get a moment of pleasure. So survival as a technique was founded in the quality of insanity, because insanity as a state of existence works for the progression of life in the process where we had to learn how to manipulate our physical environment so we could survive. But it's not successful to continue any further. And how much further do we have to travel down this journey of humanity to get to the point where we just stop? Do we have to hit a brick wall first? Because the brick wall will mean the end. So whether we can wake up and face our lives just before we all die, who knows? And who knows what may come of that. I'm talking about how amazing it would be, how incredible it would be, if we could live in a world where we all looked at the truth of what we're doing. And I'm suggesting if we look at it honestly, that will create the change. That will unleash our compassion. That will unleash our ability to unite, because now we're uniting in the truth that we are caught up in a process of thought which looks like a limiting factor that we have to learn, you know, where you just have to get used to that. You have to learn how to deal with that. You know, it's what everyone says to you. So they teach you control techniques to learn how to deal with life. And if you look at a lot of the theories in spirituality, it's about acceptance and surrendering. To me, if we keep trying to either change and manipulate this world, we're going to destroy it. If we surrender to it, then it is in control of us by the very nature of that surrender. Why would we surrender to something once we've acknowledged that the process of existence that we're currently in is self-destructive and destructive to everything around us? So in that self-destruction, we're actually thinking we're gaining. But think about how small our lives feel. So what are we actually gaining? Forget what we create. Let's look at how we feel. We feel trapped in a small space. So life expansion is the key, but we cannot expand our reality, right? So we've got to make our realities bigger so we can think more, feel more, see more. And the more we do that, the potential for corruption in a big space is small. Corruption happens when we narrow down our world and live in a segregated reality of wanting. We take out the ability to ever unite and ever be compassionate, and to forever this journey of humanity that we dream of and hope of to ever come to life. But it is possible. Like, we can do it. But we're currently not doing it. And I'm suggesting that we first admit that, accept that, take out the judgment of ourselves, take out the judgment of humanity, because that will continue. We will continue to judge each other because at the moment we're not awake.